Good afternoon. It is Saturday, and you are tuned in to Let's Go There with Sassy C and Tia. Today, we have a very hot topic to talk about. We have some amazing guests in the building with us today. Today, our topic is Black single women. Should we wait or settle? I'm sorry. Should we settle or wait forever is our topic today. So before we have our guests introduce themselves, we'll do introductions, and then I'm going to paint a picture of this topic and kind of talk about how we got here before we dive into the questions. So today we have Miss Natalie Burke in the house. Natalie, can you share a little bit with the people who you are?
Well, I'm Natalie, and I am a single mom of one. I am a medical administrator, have been for the last 14 years. And I am a single black woman looking for her king still, unfortunately. If you're out there, baby, holla.
You say that with too much enthusiasm.
Holla at your girl.
Then we have Miss Michelle in the house. Michelle, tell the people a little bit about who you are, our listeners.
Okay, I'm Michelle, and I also am a single mom of two. I am an emergency room nurse for the past 5 years, and like Natalie and the others, I'm just waiting on something, I guess, somebody to show up, show out, put a ring on it.
Okay. That's you. And Miss Cassie, tell our listeners a little bit about who you are.
My name is Cassie Bolden, and I am a high school biology teacher, and I have an adult daughter, and something about me, I love life.
Okay. And we do have another guest on his way who's stuck in traffic. Mr. James Dixon will be here shortly. But before we dive into this topic, I want to paint a picture. This is always a hot topic when it comes to relationships and having this conversation about black women and dating, black men. What inspired this topic is I saw a clip posted on one of my Facebook friends' page, and it was a episode of an ABC show that was done a few years ago, and it was entitled 3 to 6 million black women will never or cannot find a boyfriend or a husband. And so I was like, this kind of sounds like the story of my life, so let me click on it and see what's going on. So I clicked on it and started watching it, and just to kind of paint the picture, it talks about how 42% of black women have never been married. That's high. 42% of black women have never been married. There's 1.8 million more black women than there are black men. So the clip talked about even if every black man married a black woman, 1 in 12 black women would still wouldn't get married if their desire was to marry a black man. Black men in America make up a large number of the incarceration, those that are in prison. So the question was, are our standards too high or are the pickings slim? So when you look at the second part of that question, are the pickings slim? When you think about the high number of our black men that are incarcerated, and then you look at the high number of our black men who are now homosexual, and the high number of our black men that are deceased. When you look at it from that standpoint, the pickings are slim. So wanted to paint that picture of, even if a black woman wanted to marry, what stood out to me most about that clip was even if she wanted to marry a black man, the reality of it is that's not going to be the case because we simply outnumber black men. And then you throw in all of our requirements and things on our lists, then the possibility of that begins to dwindle. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host because I am struggling today. Y'all have had a long week and I'm extremely tired. So I'm going to turn it over to my co-host and she's going to lead this discussion kick us off to you.
Well, good afternoon, listening audience. I'm excited to be here. It's a beautiful Saturday in the city of Indianapolis.
Yes,
and,
it is.
You know, I'm just so excited about this topic as well. You know, and I can't wait to dive in to just hear what these beautiful women have to say just about their own situation and experiences. And, you know, if we can try to tackle this topic and see if we can feel, do, and think something differently about our conversation today.
Absolutely.
So the title is, should we settle or should we just wait forever as black women? So Sassy shared the statistics, and they're real and they're serious statistics. So I'd like to hear from you guys. You know, when we talk about settling, what have you settled on or compromised on just to have a man? Have you ever settled or thought about it, or maybe you've taken some things off your list that you used to have on your list? So share with the audience if you have settled or compromised to have a man, or would consider settling or compromising. Natalie? She's thinking deep
Natalie.
about that, right? Think about it. It's real out in these streets.
I think I have in past relationships have settled on some of the standards that I would require in a man, just to say that I'm in a relationship, and as a result, I'm still single. And I think by me settling on some of the things that I normally wouldn't settle for, it's placed me back at the start of where I was, of not having a man. I even in my last relationship settled for the fact that even him coming into the relationship, he didn't have a steady job. He didn't have his own home. He did not have a car. And I think sometimes as women, we feel like we can fix a man and help him get where he needs to be. And in my case, in me settling for the things that I really wanted him to have, I ended up helping him, giving him a leg up on those things, and he ended up taking me for granted, using me to get where he wanted to be. He now has a better job. He's living on his own and driving a better car than I am. He constantly had women in his inbox. Ended up cheating on me. And now I'm still sitting here with a broken heart, looking crazy. Yeah. It took me a long time to get over that relationship. And I think I was more mad at myself for allowing myself to put up with the stuff that I knew that I normally wouldn't put up with. Yeah. And by that being the case, I ended up right back at square one. So I had to sit and reanalyze what it is that I truly wanted in a man, because I ended up being by myself and brokenhearted again. Yeah. So I think sometimes as women, we do settle and accept certain things that we normally wouldn't, in hopes of maybe it working out for the better, but sometimes in the long run, it doesn't end up being that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad to hear that you're on the road to healing, right? And there's a lesson in everything that we go through, you know, so thank you for sharing that. And we're going to keep coming back and we're going to talk about some of the things. What do we really want in a man? And is it even something that is realistic? So we're going to circle back around to that question.
So I think for me, I'm single after a marriage and divorce. I think for me, the problem was that I looked at my grandparents' relationships and older relationships, and you see that they stand the test of time. You know, they deal with all of these things, and they're still able to make it. They're still able to survive 40 years and be married. So I was very idealistic, I believe, when I went into my relationship, that was just what, if two black people came together and we loved each other, then it was just going to be, you know, great. Unfortunately, when you have one person thinking that, you know, we're in this to be in this to the end, versus another person who is not willing to put in that work, you know, that is required to have a strong relationship. And then just also, whereas when you don't agree on things, you know, you have to at least be like-minded that we're in this together. Yes. And so, you know, that was my experience in my relationship. And, you know, I can't fight a battle for two of us. I can fight my battle. Yeah. And you have to uphold your part. We both have to give 100%. And so, you know, realizing that and discovering that I can't do a relationship on my own is what led me to being single. Yeah. So, you know, that's where I'm at this point. I've been single now. We divorced in 2013. Yeah. So 6 years now, I had a relationship outside of that. But again, with trying to heal and everything, I realized that, sometimes it's just better to be single than to go back in and settle.
Yeah. Did you find yourself making any adjustments even within the 6 years that you've been divorced in this last relationship?
Many.
Okay,
so
share one thing that you felt like you may have settled or took a couple steps back on.
Like I said, I was very idealistic.
Okay.
So now my eyes are wide open that everybody doesn't come into a relationship with the same goals as you. So, that's something that right up front, if your relationship is progressing to a point where you are going to be committed, you have to talk about that. What exactly, you need to verbalize and discuss these things. And if somebody is giving you all the signals or telling you that they are not ready or that they don't believe in the same things that you do, believe them and keep it moving.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Michelle, for sharing that. Miss Cassie, question to you. What have you settled, compromised on?
I thought about that question, and I don't equate me being single saying that I have settled. Although I've never been married, I was in a relationship, invested far too long than I should have been. So I was in this relationship for 12 years, and was hopeful that it was going to be something more than it was. It was not infidelity. It wasn't that. It wasn't that he didn't treat me good. But I ultimately had to make a decision. So I just felt that when I determined the rules to the game that we were playing, things became better. Currently now, I am enjoying life, but still am not in a committed relationship. However, I'm very confident that it's going to happen.
Okay, good. I love that confidence, and I love that you said that being single isn't settling. And I don't think any of us women think being single is settling. But what would I settle for, or what have I settled for to be in a relationship or to go out on a date just to feel like something's moving forward in our lives, right? So I thank you for clarifying that. So the next thing I want us to think about,
well,
you want me to answer?
Yeah.
I'm the facilitator.
I know, but we still a part
Well,
of the
can
dialogue.
I interject something real quick,
But we
Miss
still a part of this
Facilitator?
conversation.
Absolutely,
We're
yes.
still a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So back to this point of, I don't think any women have settled. Any women that are single think that they have settled.
Yeah.
I believe there are many.
To think that settling equates to singleness.
Yes.
That's what I thought I heard you say.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Unpack that for us.
so in the sense of, if I'm understanding you correctly, we've all played the game. Yeah, I'll do this. I know it's not going to where I want, but I'm making this choice to do X, Y, and Z, or not do X, Y, and Z. Because I want to go out to dinner. Oh, because I want to go to movies.
Right.
Oh, because he asked me on a trip.
And that's a
or
settling.
because X, Y, Z. So some people wouldn't see that as settling. They see that, well, I'm in control of this situation.
Okay.
And I'm choosing to do this because I can bow out anytime I want to. Now, I may not have expressed that to him because I'm enjoying it while we on this trip. But he not going to hurt me because I'm in control of this.
Okay.
I'm not going to, and then you have your fun or whatever you are considering, and you don't think you're settling because you're navigating the way this relationship is going.
Got it. Okay. I love that point of view. Absolutely. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Okay. So it's on me now. So what have I settled or compromised on for a man? Probably just my sense of peace and self-worth in some cases.
Ooh, that's it.
Right? I mean, because, the point of our show is to just go there and just to be real and transparent. And I could say a whole lot of superficial things, but the deal is I think that I settled for how I saw myself as a woman sometimes in a relationship that I may have stayed too long, or I hoped too long that things were going to turn around. Right? So that's my truth. ding. So yeah, that sometimes that just happens, in hoping that things are going to turn out the way that you want them to. And so then, as a result of that, growth happens.